Hello and welcome to Get Decked, the video series where I make budget Magic the Gathering decks for your casual games night and to introduce friends and family members to the game. So here we are, we're still carrying on with the Duskmourn decks, and this one we're going to do a blue-red deck called Panic Room, so you can probably guess what the theme of the deck is going to be. Let's have a look at the rules for Get Decked before we get into it. So these decks are 60 cards, they're designed for 1v1 games. We're only using Duskmourn cards for this deck. It's mostly commons and uncommons, no cards that cost more than $2 at time recording. Limit to 12 different non-land cards for a good mix of consistency and variety. Strong themes, low to mid complexity, so it's accessible for new and casual players. But just because it is casual doesn't mean it's weak or bad. So let's take a look at the deck list here for Panic Room. So we've got 14 enchantments, we've got 7 artifacts, we've got 15 creatures, 24 land. We've got a mana curve off to the side there. This mana curve is deceptive. I know it says it goes up to 8, but I promise the most expensive thing in the deck is actually 5 to cast. But we'll get into it as we look into it, as I say, because it gets a bit weird with the signature enchantments that we're going to be using in this deck. So first, we're going to talk how we're winning. So we've got a whole bunch of creatures here. So it is also it's sort of a blue-red spells deck like we've sort of seen before, but with a bit of a twist. So it's mostly relying on the room enchantments, which we'll cover when we get to it if you're not familiar with them. So we've got 3 Infernal Phantoms, 3 in red for a 2/3. Has this ability called Eerie. Whenever an enchantment you control enters, and whenever you fully unlock a room, Infernal Phantom gets +2/+0 10/10. So this kind of standard red creature that gets a power boost whenever you do something, in this case cast enchantment spells or unlock a room. We'll get into that later. And when it dies, it deals damage equal to its power to any target, which is really, really nice that it's any target. It doesn't have to hit creatures or players. It can hit anything. And this is almost like a bit of a win condition because we've got so many enchantments in here and the rooms that we can unlock as well. We can get Infernal Phantom's power really high and then force this really horrible decision, honestly, like because we can swing with it. And then it's like, well, do you block it and obviously lose something because it's really high? And, it's only got 3 toughness. So if you block it and it dies, you're still taking that damage either way, because it's either going to kill something, maybe get killed itself, and then also do its burn damage, or it's just you're going to let it through and take that damage anyway. So yeah, Infernal Phantom I think is going to force some really horrible decisions when playing. Then we've got 3 Rampaging Soul Ragers, 2 in red for 1/4. Gets +3/+0 as long as there are 2 or more unlocked doors amongst rooms you control. And so we'll cover those later. But yeah, not hard to get this up to being a 4/4 for only 3 mana, which is quite nice. And then we've got 3 Intruding Soul Ragers, blue and a red for a 2/2 with Vigilance. You can tap and sacrifice a room. Intruding Soul Rage does 2 damage to each opponent, and then you draw a card. So it turns some of the rooms that you don't need anymore into extra burn damage and a bit of card draw, which I think is quite nice. And also it's like a 2/2 Vigilance, which is like fine, I suppose, as well. So now we're going to talk about what helps us win. So we've got 3 Creeping Peepers. So 1 in the blue for a 2/1. Taps to give you blue, but as with all blue mana dorks, it's sort of limited in what you can use that mana for. You can only use it to cast an enchantment spell, which we've got a load of in the deck anyway. Unlock a door, again, which we've got a lot of in the deck, or turn a permanent face up, which we've got nothing to do with that. But yeah, so it's kind of cool. I always like these blue mana dorks, and I just think it's nice when a color other than green gets a mana dork, and it's actually nice that it's mostly being blue recently. It's using the mana for different things, usually to do the sets gimmick. So yeah, I really like it. We've got 3 Ghostly Key Bearers, 3 in a blue for 3/3 flying, so just Phantom Monster stats, which is perfectly fine. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you unlock a locked door of up to 1 target room you control. So we've got a whole bunch of rooms, and this lets us bypass the pretty high unlock costs of some of them. And then we've got 3 Keys to the House, so 1 mana artifact. You can pay 1 and tap and sacrifice it, search for a basic land, reveal it, put in hand, then shuffle. So, just a bit of a land search there. But what's more valuable, I think, is the second ability. You can pay 3, tap, and sacrifice it to lock or unlock a door of a room you control. So being able to unlock a door bypassing, its normally high unlock cost is pretty good for 3. What I think is more interesting, though, is locking the door so you can unlock it again later and double dip on the ability of some of these rooms. So we're going to talk about the rooms now because, if you're not familiar with the Duskmourn set, you might not know, you might think, what am I going on about rooms? So rooms are enchantments. They're a type of enchantment, and they are dual-sided like this. Well, not dual-sided, but it's 2 rooms on 1 card. So it's not like a double-face card. It's kind of like the split cards that we've seen in like some Ravnica sets or whatever. So when you play a room, you choose to cast either side of it. So in the case of this one, you can either pay 2 in a red and play it as Smoky Lounge, or 3 in a blue and cast it as Misty Salon. So it comes in unlocked on that side, and the other side is locked. You can then, as a sorcerer, you can pay the mana cost of the other side to unlock it, and then you get that effect. So it's pretty cool, I think. So with Smoky Lounge, for example, you can pay it as 2 in a red early on, and it gives you this constant ability at your first main phase, add double red, but you can only spend that mana to cast room spells and unlock doors. So it's a constant mana ability. And then the Misty Salon is when you unlock the door, you make an XX blue spirit creature token flying, where X is the number of unlocked doors amongst rooms you control. So, if you've already got a bunch of rooms out with all the unlocked doors, then you can cast Misty Salon and just get a spirit straight away. Or, say, you can cast the Smoky Lounge first, let it build up, play more rooms, unlock more doors, and then do Misty Salon to make a really big blue spirit. So I think the rooms and the doors, I think, is a really, really cool mechanic. I really, really like it. And when I was looking at the archetypes and looking at the new cards and new gimmicks of the set, I saw this and I was like, right, I have to make a deck based around this because I think it's so, so cool. I have no idea how it plays. I don't know if it'd be kind of like maybe a bit awkward, a bit kind of weird to play, but I think it's pretty cool, and I think for a casual deck like this, I think it'd be pretty fun. So yeah, it's got 3 Smoky Lounges and Misty Salons. So now I'm going to take a tour of the rooms. So a lot of the rooms, obviously, there's a lot of overlap then between like how we're winning, what helps us win, what stops opponent winning, because the rooms all do different things. So I think we're just going to look at them all in sort of one go. So we've got 3 bottomless pools and locker rooms. So bottomless pool is 1 blue, locker room is 4 in a blue. Bottomless pool, when you unlock that door, it's just a bounce, it's an unsummon effect at sorcery speed, and the locker room side is a coastal piracy effect. It's not actually, no, it's a bit worse than coastal piracy because it doesn't trigger per creature. It's just as long as one creature gets through, you draw a card. But this is again one of those rooms where you can play it really early on to get the unsummon, wait until you get the locker room side, and then unlock that. So yeah, I think it's pretty cool. We've got 3 meat lockers and drowned diners. So meat locker is again kind of like one of the I guess instant effects of it. So where you unlock it, you tap a creature and put 2 stun counters in it, and the drowned diner is another instant side. 3 in double blue. When you unlock it, you draw 3 and then discard 1. So there's a bit of draw there. So meat locker is actually the one where you can quite happily sacrifice that to the Soul Rager, the one that lets you sacrifice rooms, because it doesn't have a permanent side. Once these 2 sides are unlocked, they're providing no extra bonus, so you can quite happily get rid of it. Or, of course, you can use the keys to the house to re-lock it and then unlock it again to get this effect again, which I think is really, really fun. I really wish there'd been more things in the set that let you relock rooms. Like I wish the Keybearer Spirit had let you relock rooms on combat damage. I think that would have been pretty fun, but anyway. Then we've got 3 Glassworks and Shattered Yards. So Glassworks is 2 in a red. When you unlock it, it does 4 damage to a creature an opponent controls, which is a really nice bit of burn. And then Shattered Yards is 4 in a red. At the beginning of your own set, this room does 1 damage to each opponent. So we've kind of got like initial big burn to a creature, and then Shattered Yards a constant chip to your opponent each turn. And yeah, I think that's pretty good. It will add up pretty quickly, I think. And then we've got 2 Painter Studios and Deface Galleries. So Painter Studios is 2 in a red, and it's basically red impulse draw. You exile the top 2 cards of your library, and you can play them until the end of your next turn. And Deface Gallery is just a buff for attacking creatures. So yeah, I thought a couple of those would be pretty cool. Right, and now we're going to finally talk about what stops them winning. So this is a more straightforward removal. We're just going to have 4 chainsaws because it's pretty fun to have a card that is literally just a chainsaw. 1 in a red artifact enters, does 3 damage up to 1 target creature, so it's like just bolt something. And then it stays around because whenever 1 or more creatures die, you put a rev counter on it, and then the equipped creature gets +X+0, where X is the number of rev counters on chainsaw. So ideally, this is coming in, kills something, gets a rev counter. It's then going to build up more counters as more creatures die, because I said we've got all this burn and removal and stuff. And then ideally what we want to put this on is the Infernal Phantom to up its power even more, so when it dies it does even more damage to a target. Or you've got a couple of flyers as well you can put this on, like the Keybearer or the Spirit that gets made from Misty Salon. So yeah, a lot of creatures in the deck will just appreciate like just having a big old chainsaw and getting a really big power boost, especially as it can keep growing as creatures die throughout the game. So let's finally talk about the mana base. It's got 4 Peculiar Lighthouse, which is the red-blue Friday land. Because you blue or red. And then we've got 10 islands and 10 mountains. So I'd love to know what you think about this deck. This was the one I was most interested in putting together for Duskmourn because I think that I thought the rooms were such a cool, fun mechanic, and it's blue-red, which is one of my favorite color combinations. So I was like really, I was really biased towards it. But I'd love to know what you think about the rooms as a mechanic. Like, do you think they're pretty cool, or have you had a chance to play them perhaps at a pre-release, and or just in general? Do they play okay, or are they kind of like maybe a bit too slow, a bit dirtly? I'd really like to know what you think, or if there's some cards in this in this deck that you think I missed out, any replacements you make. I know there is the rare blue room, which is it's like an alternate win condition. If you control a certain number of rooms, you just win the game. So maybe that could have been here, and you could have built the deck more around that. But I'm pretty happy with how it is at the moment. But I say I would really welcome any kind of input, suggestions, feedback. Stick a comment down below. Always give it a read. But I'll be back next time with the last of these Duskmourn Get Decked decks. So I hope you join me for that. But until then, thanks for watching and listening, and have a great day.